it was a request by one of my clients to make up some sort of video to kind of explain how to pace yourself during different kinds of exercises. And this includes core bracing, this includes how to breathe through an exercise and all of those kinds of things. And as a general rule, I'm going to make like a general video to explain how you should be thinking of pacing yourself during any kind of exercise. This doesn't matter what exercise it is. It doesn't matter if you're using weights or doing different modifications or anything like that. This is a general rule. And unless I tell you specifically to change it up, these are the concepts that you're going to want to apply, especially if you are a new beginner or you're having doubts on how an exercise is supposed to go. Follow these steps. So with any exercise, we want to have a braced core. Now, bracing your core does not mean you're holding your breath. It does not mean you're sucking in your stomach and your ribs are flared. It simply means that you're keeping your core strong. Some analogies that kind of work to help to brace the core properly are things like if you were to think about somebody was going to come up to you and punch you in the stomach. You have that like reaction, right? So that reaction when your core goes, huh, like out of instinct because someone's about to punch you in the stomach, that's the feeling of bracing your core. You're going to feel that not just in your abs, but you should feel it kind of like thinking about it going around, kind of like a corset. Your core is not just your abdominal muscles in the front. Your core includes the obliques and everything going all around your back. So even your low back, your mid back, this is all part of your core, and all of these muscles we want to stay strong. They also have a huge part in your posture and how you stand and how you carry yourself. So we want these to be really strong. Part of bracing your core also means kind of pulling your shoulders back and being in a good postural position. So we don't want to be hunched over in any kind of exercise. We don't want to be loosey-goosey in any kind of exercise. We want to be strong, shoulders back, intentional, and carrying yourself with confidence. This is a great way to think about how you should carry yourself in all kind of walks of life, whether you're in the gym or not. These are the kinds of things that we want to think about in order to maintain good posture, to look confident, to feel confident, and to feel strong. So these are kind of things to think about as you're in the starting position of any kind of exercise. So even if you're doing bicep curls, even if you're doing squats, we're always maintaining this type of posture, this type of braced core. If you're thinking about the different kinds of things that you can be doing, overhead press, right? These things are not changing. So we want to think about that as like a base, and that is like the foundation of any kind of exercise that you're going to do. The other thing that we want to do is thinking about how we're breathing. So there's usually two parts to every exercise. There's the eccentric and the concentric. The eccentric is the part of the exercise when we're lengthening a muscle group. So if we're thinking about a bicep curl, for example, you're starting at the top, and if these are the biceps here, and right now when my fist is at my shoulder, the muscles here are shortened. They're contracting. When I am going down in a bicep curl, I am now lengthening that muscle group. In the eccentric, when those muscles are lengthening, that's when we want to think about breathing in. So you're breathing in through your nose, and as you do the concentric part of the movement, when you're contracting the muscle, that's when you're going to breathe out. So eccentric, concentric. Squat is the same thing. When you're going into a squat, as you're coming down, you are lengthening those glute muscles, you're lengthening those hamstrings. So you're in that concentric part, the eccentric part of the movement, lengthening those muscles and breathing in. Concentric, contracting the muscles, breathing out. Right? In, out. Okay? So anytime, basically the other way that we can describe this is when you're breathing in through like the easier part of the motion, and then you're breathing out during the harder part of the motion. So the harder part of the motion for most people in a squat or in a bicep curl is when you're facing the resistance of the weight. So right now we're kind of facing the resistance of the weight because we're controlling it on the way down, but when we're working against the weight by having to bring it back up, that's usually like the harder part of the movement. Same with your squat, you're working with gravity going down, now you're working against gravity coming back up. And it's even harder with some sort of variation when there's a weight on your back or you're holding some weights, something like that. So those are two things, actually three things, I guess. Bracing your core, keeping your posture, and breathing through the exercise. Those are three key concepts that you want to apply to any exercise that you're going to be doing, unless they're specified otherwise. So keep those things in mind. They're really, really important. And